And welcome back to Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix HD 2.5 Remix Edition. My name is Bender, and we're going to fight some Heartless. So we're going to be starting to encounter a lot more different types of enemies nowadays, as well as they're going to be dropping stuff. It's going to be a lot more depth in the game is happening now, and it's really going to open up and start to look really more like a game than we were before. I don't really mind the introductory secrets with Roxas, but after the 5th time I've played this game, it gets kind of old. And once you really start playing with Sora, the game gets a lot faster. There's a lot more variety to it, and you feel more powerful than you do with Roxas, because Roxas is so basic. And I was having I was struggling a lot dealing with Roxas's gameplay style because it's so much less. There's so much less you can do with it than with Sora's. I mean, I guess that's just a fault of the game for not letting you have anything to do with Roxas, and Roxas being just more like a earlier version of Sora's leveling system. So really, it's not his fault. But we can blame him anyway. His gameplay kind of sucked in 358 anyway. So we're just going to be ascending the towers, fighting the Heartless, doing what we do. The usual. And I don't know if we encounter nobodies here, but I think we do later on. These stairs are very unique, is what I would call them. It's a very weird tower that we're sitting. It's clearly bigger than what we actually saw from the inside. So it's got this sort of TARDIS effect, and these wayward stairs are just what's the word I'm thinking of? Just weird. Hey, a soldier, and he's recolored too. That's awesome. So these soldier Heartless actually have a new reaction command you can do like this. It's called Cyclone. It's really cool. Sora just kind of backs up and just charges at the guy, and it's actually really powerful. So whenever you see the soldier attack, you can actually do that move. Although I think the soldier does have a spin attack that you cannot counter as efficiently. And we got a bunch of these guys. Let's see if we can do it a few more times. Come on, do it. Let's see it. There we go. Cyclone. And come on. Show me those teeth. There we go. Oh, we got a good look at it that time. So yeah, a lot of enemies are going to start having their own unique reaction commands, and some of them are actually pretty cool. I apologize if you can hear the controller really loudly in the mic. I'm holding it right next to my face. Hate is gonna hate, Heartless gonna heart. Wait.
So the worlds aren't at peace after all?
I wonder what's behind that door. This is definitely not just a cutscene indicator to tell you where you're supposed to go. I feel this is a common technique in video games where they point via the cutscene to show you what door. But even as a kid, I would still get confused and be like, which door was it? Was it the yellow door they showed, or was it like the green door back here? Oh, let's just go back here. Oh, well, that's clearly not right. So what is this wayward stairs? Oh, I was right when I called it Moon Chamber. Oh, so that actually is what it's called. What have we got to deal with here? More Heartless? More Heartless! Sora's got some pretty, awesome aerial combos in this game. And hopefully we'll be able to get some moves that'll show that off soon. But, was that Goofy Bash? Just throws it? He throws it under his leg, which is pretty stylish. Goofy's got some style. Versus Donald, who just screams, I got it! I got it! Ah! Yeah! Sora's walking all casually. That magnificent beard. You must be Gandalf.
Hey there.
Sora, show some respect.
Settle down, settle down.
So, you are Sora. Now then, have you seen the king yet?
Yes, we did, Master, but we didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Yes, the king has been quite busy of late. Therefore, it would seem that the task of instructing you three falls upon my shoulders. You have a perilous journey ahead of you. You must be well prepared.
You mean we have to go on another quest?
Damn right, you better have another quest. We got a whole
I was
game ahead of
looking forward
ourselves.
to finding my
Pretty
friend
boring if there
Riku,
wasn't any quest.
so we could go back to the islands.
Yes, I know. However, everything in your journey, Sora, is connected. Whether you will find your way home to the islands, whether you will return alone or with your friend, and whether or not the islands will still be there. And the key that connects them all is you, Sora.
So I'm a
I'm-
Keyblade.
The key?
Chosen wielder of the Keyblade, you are the key that will open the door to light. This book contains valuable knowledge you will need for your journey. Study it carefully. Once you have finished, we will speak of the enemies you will surely confront.
So now we have control again. One thing I'd like to point out, or just something kind of cool that I used to think about this game back when they first showing trailers for it, before the game actually came out. Most of the trailers were in Japanese, and there was a Japanese site that had a lot of cool little things you can do and explore about this game before we really knew much about it. One of the things is that this cutscene here, when Sora's talking to Yensid, it was in all Japanese, and so a lot of the thing you couldn't understand anything they were saying, and it wasn't really subtitled back then, as nicely as it is today. And so I always thought that there was so much. It sounded so cool, the conversation that Sora was having with Yensid, and when it's translated to English, it's just like, it's not as cool. So we got a big chest here, and there's something awesome about these big chests versus the normal chests. Check this out. Yeah. This game comes with Birth by Sleep, in which you play as three different Keyblade wielders. It's kind of a spoiler, but not really, because obviously, if you have this game, which is more than likely the way you're going to be playing this game, if you don't already know the story, you'll know that there are three Keyblade wielders in Birth by Sleep, just from going to the front menu. But each one of them has their own unique animation, and I'll show that when we get to Birth by Sleep, if we get to Birth by Sleep. Sora has a really cool one, but one of the characters has this really ridiculous one where he just kind of lifts it and taps it. It's really like over dramatic and hilarious. But let's go check out this book. So this is going to tell you a little bit about the story. He says this book contains valuable information, but it's very cryptic. I think that one was talking about the first story. So this one's talking about probably Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories or 358. I'm not sure. I doubt it'd be talking about 358, though. But it kind of seems like it is because it's talking about the world in between. Future story. So this one, to me, it doesn't really explain anything about what's going to happen, but I guess it says something. I don't know if anyone's ever actually picked up on anything in this little passage. There's not really much valuable knowledge there.
Wait a sec. How come the Heartless are still running around?
Your past endeavors did
'Cause we didn't want to think of a new
prevent an
enemy type.
immense effusion of Heartless from the great darkness. Make no mistake about that. However, the Heartless are darkness made real, and darkness yet lingers in every heart. The Heartless are fewer, but while darkness exists in a single heart, it will be difficult to eliminate them.
Gorge, that must mean if everybody's heart was full of light, them Heartless would go away.
Now, it is time to speak. of
That's the problem,
enemies
Goofy.
That you will encounter. If one such as you, Donald, yields to the darkness in their heart, they too will become a Heartless. But you know this. The Heartless are always
little
lurking
things are always so
and
funny
ever
to me.
seeking to capture new hearts. Never let your guard down. Now then. At times, if someone with a strong heart and will, be they evil or good, becomes a Heartless, the empty shell they leave behind begins to act with a will of its own. An empty vessel whose heart has been stolen away. A spirit that goes on even as its body fades from existence. For you see, no bodies do not truly exist at all. No bodies may seem to have feelings, but this is a ruse. They only pretend to have hearts. You must not be deceived.
Nobodies. They don't exist.
Very abstract concept that doesn't exactly make
Now
sense
then,
or hold up in the line of
being
the story.
you see before you is known as a dusk.
Essentially, the best way to think about it is
They are
that
the
these
most
guys are just
common
kind of like
form of
empty
nobody.
shells of people
But
who
there
had
are
a
others.
stronger will
Some
than
larger,
the common riffraff.
some with
So if,
frightening
say,
and unique powers.
I don't know,
Be
Iago turned into a Heartless,
On
maybe
your
he'd leave behind a
journey,
dusk
you
because he
will
had a bit of
meet
a
an
stronger heart.
alarming number of dusks. They will all attempt to do you harm.
These guys are just basically just
Still,
mostly
they are
just
nothing
basic
but
enemies. They're not
empty
really that
shells
important to think
destined
about in
to
terms of
return to darkness.
emotions and trying to
But
deceive you and having a heart. The organization is really the important part.
the beings you see before you now are different. These powerful nobodies have formed a group called Organization 13. It commands the lesser nobodies.
Organization 13.
Huh? Never heard of them.
While Heartless act on instinct, nobodies function in a higher manner. They can think and plan, and it seems they are working towards a goal. What that goal
They become
is,
self-aware.
we do not know. The king sensed the danger and journeyed forth to fight it. He found the Dark Realm's Keyblade and with it closed the door. Now he's traveling from world to world, fighting the Heartless as he seeks the answer to the riddle of the Nobodies and Organization 13.
Then I guess we better go find the king first.
But where could he be?
Well, we won't know till we look.
Yeah, and the king must know where Riku is, because the two of them were together in the realm of darkness when we closed the door. You know, after defeating Ansem.
So, before you go, you will need more suitable traveling clothes. Those look a bit too small for you.
Master Yensid's looking out for you, dog.
Through
He
there,
didn't want you
you'll find
wearing those
few
rags.
good fairies. If
You hear
ask,
me?
They'll create for you appropriate garments.
Gorge, Sora, you sure are growing fast.
I guess.
That crotch zipper is looking all too prominent. If you didn't notice, Sora was wearing a wetsuit. essentially. Just kind of like looking at him. That whole thing, that whole red, it's all connected. It's just one big suit that he's wearing, and then he's wearing a jacket over it. It's really... I've seen pictures of him without the little coat thing. It's really awkward. Let's go in here first, and we'll do this part, and then we'll call it an episode. Because this part is one of the more interesting scenes in the entire game. Or by interesting, I mean awesome scenes. It's a cool scene. I like it. Except for the fairies. The fairies are kind of silly, but what they do with Sora is awesome. And they have little tiny wings.
Me, you guys, Riku, and the king. I don't care who this organization is or what it's planning. With the 5 of us, I mean 6 of us.
I have to pause this here because I still don't know what Sora means by with the 5 of us, I mean 6 of us. There's nothing to worry about, right? Does he mean like I really don't know. Does he mean Kairi? Because that doesn't really make any sense. Because I don't think Sora would really count on Kairi to help him out in those situations. I mean, maybe he would, but it's like, I mean, Yensid's right behind him. Does he mean Yensid? Does he mean like? I mean, I guess he has to mean Kairi. There's no other person he could really mean at this point. It almost seems like he's kind of like subtly hinting towards like Namine or. Oh, you know what? I know exactly. Sora's made the same mistake I did. It's obviously Sora, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, Ryu, and Jiminy Cricket, right? Of course.
There's nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
6-person Jiminy Cricket. So, real quick, we'll pick up this chest here, get ourselves a mithril stone, and anything else we can do? No, let's talk to the Red Fairy.
Well, look who's here, dears. Sora, Donald, and Goofy.
Get used to them saying that name, those names in that exact
You've come to
order
the right place.
many, many times,
I'll
because
do
it
the
happens a lot.
designing.
Don't be touching his butt, old lady. Ugh.
Oh, that will never do.
A little better.
Now, dears.
I
Don't you like
don't really think I
this
like the pink. It
better?
doesn't really go well with my hair. Nah, now we're just going in circles. Come on, guys. Make up your minds.
Are you certain?
None of these are good.
Blue.
What is that? Oh, it's a crow. A crow! Oh, God.
Ah, would you just decide?
Oh, well.
All right, then. Together now, dears. And no more squabbling. Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's lovely.
No more crotch zipper.
Yes, he does look very dashing.
I really gotta say, I love this version of
Those
Sora's
aren't ordinary
like
colors.
design the best. I think it's the best looking one to date. Better than 3D's design and better than his original design. I think he looks like a hero. His original design was originally meant to look like Mickey, but I think this one gives him something unique. And it even comes with this awesome power. This is a drive.
Whoa.
Now we have the power with 2 Keyblades. I'll explain drives later though.
Keyblades.
This journey's going to be twice as difficult as your last.
Why can't I hold all these Keyblades?
Other powers. But you'll have to discover what they are as you continue on your journey.
Okay, I'll do my best. And thanks a lot.
Oh, and there's something else for you from Master Yensid. Oh, boy!
So we got the Star Seeker. It's our first new Keyblade, and it is an attack-based Keyblade that works for combos in midair. As you know from the first playthrough, at least I think as you know, I really enjoy aerial combos versus ground combos, so I'll be using it a lot. And we got Valor Form. It's our first drive. Whenever we have Goofy in the party, we can activate it, and I'll show you this off in a little bit. A little bit. Not this episode, but much later. And so this also adds the drive bar next to Sora's name. Now the little HUD is looking a little bit more complete now. So in order to activate a drive, you need 3 drive levels, and later drives will take a few more. And then you can earn more drive levels by completing certain things in the game. And then there's drive orbs as well that you saw in the cutscene that will actually let you restore that. So it's basically acts as its own little energy bar of some sort, and it lets you do the drives. Drives are really cool, but I'll show them off a little bit later. Sora, I think you dropped something. Huh? Oh, this is new. Part of a picture. Is this a gift too? So, I have no idea what these things are. I think they have something... You have obtained a puzzle piece. Puzzle pieces are scattered all over the world. Some can only be accessed after learning a certain ability. You can view collected pieces in Jimmy's journal. Oh, let's go. I actually want to see what that is. Form abilities are fixed. I'll explain it later. Sub-weapons. Equipping sub-weapons. Alright, so... with Sora, you can actually equip... You'd think they'd figure that you should be able to switch these keyblades around, but no. So you can't actually equip the Star Seeker unless you're in Valor form. But once you get more keyblades, you can switch these guys around a little bit easier. Stock. What do we have in here? Some random things. So abilities. So when you have Valor form, you've got all these awesome abilities that you can do. You can't change them at all. They are stuck like that for the entire game. But they're really cool, and some of them have these square attacks where if part of opening moves as well as finishing moves have really cool effects if you press square during combos as well. So make sure you try those out when you get the chance to use Valor Form. Valor Form also comes with High Jump, which is a growth ability, and how to explain those is basically you get abilities that Sora can do in these drive forms. Basically, High Jump. One of them is Glide and Dodge Roll. And when you level up the drive forms, because they have experience bars as well, you eventually get to use these abilities outside of the drive. So eventually you'll be able to learn how to High Jump, how to Glide, how to Dodge Roll outside of these drive forms. And these can get really good as you level them up. So as you can see, it's High Jump level 1. I believe it goes up to High Jump level 3 or 4, maybe, as you level up Valor Form. And then there's all these other kinds of things as well. Sora has a new ability. Item boost. Let's do that. Donald, Goofy. Okay. Customize. You can now see... status. You can now see Valor Form. You can see what kind of experiences. In order to level up Valor Form, you have to hit Heartless. So basically, whenever you see a Heartless and you hit it with Valor Form, you gain 1 experience points. Valor Form is the easiest drive to level up because of this. And... other forms have much more difficult ways of leveling up. So you're going to be using Valor Form a lot. In the first beginning of the game, you're going to be leveling it up like crazy. So it's pretty nice. Donald, Goofy, yep. Those journal. Now I want to go check a look at what those new things are. Pieces. Awakening puzzle piece. Interesting. I guess we'll find out more about that later. I guess that this might be replacing the Trinity system for the final mix version, which is interesting. I think it has something to do with a Keyblade you get later on in the game. So we'll be sure to collect them all and see what they actually unlock.
Hi, it's the gummy ship.
Oh god, gummy ships. Didn't we get enough of that in the first game?
So you guys ready to go?
Sir.
Now, just a moment. Because of your previous endeavors, the worlds have returned to their original states. That means the pathways between them have disappeared.
How do we get around?
Do not fear.
Sora looks so
If what
depressed.
the king suspected proves true, the worlds have prepared new pathways along which you may travel.
AKA a plot point.
These pathways may be utilized by unlocking special gates. How these gates are opened, I'm afraid I do not know. However, the Keyblade will serve as your guide. When a beam of light radiates from the Keyblade, return to the gummy ship. Though the worlds may seem far apart and out of reach, they nonetheless remain connected by invisible ties, as do our hearts.
Our hearts are connected.
That is correct.
Got it.
His
But
beady eyes.
be warned, as you proceed, the Heartless and the Nobodies will be using their own paths. Corridors of darkness to travel.
You, sir,
from
are
world
very
to
tall.
world.
I must point that out.
They may be attempting to link these dark pathways to the gates between the worlds.
Hey, that's not fair.
Now then, that is all the information I can give to you. Go forth, Sora, Donald, and
He said it
Goofy.
again.
Everyone is waiting.
Okay, let's get going.
Master Yensid.
We sure do appreciate the help.
Oh, those three. Him disappearing like that always made me feel like there was something important about it, about him disappearing. It's not. Don't worry about it.
My goodness, what's that? Haven't we seen this somewhere before?
Yes, dear. I wonder whose it was.
Oh, Malefa! No, we mustn't remember her name. Oh dear.
Is that a thing about
She was
Sleeping
a
Beauty?
mean old witch. Oh no.
Mustn't remember
the
her name.
memories are coming back. What'll we do? Oh, what'll we do? Goodness,
Dear.
no.
Oh,
This is
whatever
Harry.
shall we
Harry.
do? Perhaps we should tell Master Yensid.
Yes, that's
I don't know what
we
kind of
must
plot
do.
point that,
Hurry.
or what kind of obscure storytelling term this is, but it's kind of ridiculous that remembering Maleficent's name
Maleficent!
makes her come back. So she's back. We'll get to Maleficent's part in this game a little bit later on in the story, once the story's kind of panned out a little bit more. All I have to say about it is that it's kind of... It feels like it was tacked on. Very tacked on part of the game is
Howdy,
Maleficent's
Sora.
role.
How you
Hey,
doing?
it's Chip and Dale, and they're speaking.
It's your favorite gummy engineers here, ready for duty. Chip?
Alright, I'll do it.
And they
Dramatic pause.
happy flying!
Dramatic pause. Next time on Kingdom Hearts 2, Final Mix HD Remake 2.5.
Only
We're gonna enter
one?
Hollow Bastion. See you then.
That's still good.
Wait, I think it's a world we know.